Okay, so I keep hearing stuff about sweaters, and then I saw something about it was the Huxtables talking about a sweater, and I don't know, 'tis the season, right? So talk about giving. I taught my kids to give when they were younger by boxing up some of the old toys that they didn't use, that they'd outgrown, whatever they were. And, some of them were their favorite toys. And I generally, somebody else had said, what if you put like a box in the attic or out of sight and kind of like swap out the boxes, like 6 months at a time here and there. And I thought, well, that might work because, it might allow people, it might allow the kids to appreciate the toys more, right? And they still outgrow them, right? I mean, it's just what we do. We do. And so, what I chose to do, and everybody has their own way that works in any particular situation, but what I chose to do was when they were little, I took a box of the toys. I had my daughter go with me. We went to the laundromat. We set them on the chair with a note that said, free, and it included things anywhere from like plastic toys to stuffed animals and little like little pocket sized toys that that they could have, like cars or whatnot. And when my daughter, when we went back like a week or two later, because it was a community laundry, and we went back there, and she saw a kid playing with some of the toys, and one of them had a toy that they had brought in with them that they had obviously taken from the box out, and they were bringing it back, and they obviously like really liked it. And I think she saw them come in with it. She's like, Mom, that was mine. And I'm like, I know. And look how happy, like they're carrying that thing around just like you used to. You used to love it just that same way. And now it is loving that toy just as much, if not more, than you, because you've outgrown it, right? And so that was the first lesson in giving that I gave my daughter. I'm gonna make some tea, so hold on. Be patient. I'm not moving this camera around. Um, but anyway, let's let's talk about the sweater. So when my daughter was older, she my ex had a girlfriend. She was great with the kids. She was a special ed teacher, so she had a better feel of kids than my ex seemed to. So I felt okay. I felt a lot better with her being around my kids than I did my ex. So I didn't have a problem with that inside their time, but it really bothered me to the nth degree. And I wouldn't call it jealousy, because it was a how dare you feeling that came from that entire situation. And since we know that things hold energy, and later my daughter had given me this sweater, and she's like, here, I don't really like it. And she goes, I know you like green. And I'm like, it fits. I love it. It's great. And then later she told me that my ex's now long since ex-girlfriend gave it to my daughter, and then my daughter gave it to me. So, and I think that she was disappointed that my daughter didn't like the sweater, and because I think that she really did. And so I think what happened there is that, you know, she saw the sweater, she really liked it. She thought for sure my daughter would like it and gave it to her. And then my daughter gave it away because, you know, I taught my daughter that it's good to make other people happy. If it's not something that you want, then it's okay to make other people happy. And and it makes you feel good, right? Because here I am, I'm still wearing it. So thank you to both of you. Because the caring thought that went into purchasing this sweater for my daughter is the kind of person that I believed that she was to my kids, even though I never saw them together. And then she went online and was telling everybody that they were her kids, and I just thought, at first it was, how dare you, you know, like, because, you know, she didn't say that they were her stepkids. She didn't, like, she was literally just claiming to be their mom for whatever her reasons were. It wasn't until later that I learned that, I'm going to grab my hot water, that I learned that she didn't have any kids of her own. And I was like, ah. And because my kids are awesome, she loves them. And I think that how dare you thing that I was feeling was actually, maybe, possibly, how she felt about my ex, because I felt the same way about him. Like, you know, how dare you? How could you do this to my daughter, right? And and maybe that was the role that she was trying to help him see. I don't know. But that ended up turning out quite beautifully. So congratulations, John. I'm very, very happy for you and excited for, you know, how all of that turned out. Because we all have our own lessons in life to learn. And we learn by these experiences with other people. It's and maybe that's, you know, maybe it's, I think that it's good to have enough experiences to know where you want certain parts of your life to go. So for instance, with me, and I want to fish. And in order to do that, I needed to be by the water. So I don't know enough about motors, so, or have any way of hauling a boat, or I don't have the knowledge or anybody to repair it. So I bought a plastic kayak, just something that literally floats on the water, that I can sit on, that I can fish from, that I can swim off from, and then there we go. It's inexpensive, it's lightweight, I can haul it, and, you know, it gets me to where it is that I want to be and what it is that I want to do. Meanwhile, there's people out there with much bigger boats and, you know, lots of people on them and hanging out and stuff. And that's okay too, right? But I just I wanted to do what it is that I could with the resources that I have, and there's nothing wrong with enjoying alone time. I thoroughly enjoy my alone time, because there's been a lot of time when I was around other people that it was not fun. So I just chose not to, because being alone is better than having to deal with all the stuff. And so, like, when it came to her, I never felt jealous of her about anything. I picked up on different things that were probably going on, just kind of, you know, by osmosis, I suppose. Like, oh yeah, like I kind of hear everything else. And, you know, so I didn't feel any jealousy there, and I don't think that and she was able to find somebody who is absolutely awesome to her and treats her beautifully. So from what I've been able to see, um, and I don't look because I don't care, because I don't like, I think, and I told this to my kids, um, that I felt like it was sad that she was claiming my kids as her own. And looking back now, maybe I felt sad because she didn't have kids of her own and she really wanted kids of her own, and that's why she decided to be a special ed teacher. And um, then she ended up with somebody really special in the end. So, it all worked out. But, she was trying to see what it was like to be a mom, to feel what it was like to call kids her own that were awesome, that actually needed somebody in that space because of, the rest of the situation. Now, nobody's perfect, and I don't hold anything against her. But I voiced my opinion when there were things that I heard about that I did not like. But that's just kind of what how it goes with raising anybody, even raising adults, like me. It takes a village to raise me, man. I swear. um And so, because there was love that was tied to this sweater, and I can see that this sweater had good intentions and that they ended up happy because of it in the end, even if it wasn't the initial way that they thought that they were going to be happy. They ended up happy in the end because, or happier in the end, because they they gave that part of themselves to that person, that thing, or whatever, that intention. And um and so I don't, and for instance, it feels like a wool sweater. I'm sure that it's probably some kind of a cotton blend, I'm not really sure, but it is so soft. It, like, I love touching it. It's so soft. And unlike a wool sweat, see, to me, jealousy feels like a wool one piece, yeah, where it's just like on your bare skin and it's itchy and scratchy and you don't want to move, and it's just like, ugh. So that is the feeling that the emotion of jealousy gives me. And I don't, that's not, I tried that on once. And actually, okay, the person that I felt that the most with was someone who had um, kind of slipped in at a time when he thought the relationship was over. I didn't feel that it was. And it was actually somebody that he had known before me. And they had made an agreement, a pact, if you will, that, which I learned about later, um, that they would be together when they were old, if nothing else worked out, that they would come back together. And I think that they did that a time or two. I'm not really sure where in the whole circus that's going on, because I preferred, probably, I don't, yeah, we all have our own circus. Mine, I could say I preferred mine because I wouldn't want to be him. just I just wouldn't. But everybody plays their own role, and without people coming in and learning their own lessons the hard way, like I've had to, it helps. It helps people remember when they went through the same kind of situation. It helps people who are going through the same kind of situation. It's people who are thinking, well, how would that situation work out? Well, here's one way it can work out. It's not a matter of jealousy is just it's a horrible emotion. And I've said several times that I tried it on once and I didn't like it. And then of course there's the old saying, try it once, try anything once, twice if you like it. Well, I tried on jealousy once. I didn't like it. And this sweater, I don't feel any jealousy in it. It didn't come with jealousy. It didn't have jealousy intentions. It has love in it, and that's what it is that I feel from it. And it's an awesome sweater. I actually love it. So, but I don't have like any sweaters from other people. Now, okay, there is there's a little click, 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 click. There is a t-shirt that I bought at a similar type of time when I knew two different people, and they were both kind of similar in some ways and yet extremely different. Like, one of them that it wasn't right for either of us. Great guy. He knows who he is. Still love him. On a friendship level, but that's not like, no. no. He's moved on, he's happy, and I'm happy for him, and everything is great there. And even if it wasn't, it's just no, right? But he did things with me. He took me places, and my friend was very, he seemed to enjoy the jealousy, and I think that's why it is that he was wanting me to be jealous, because he wanted me to feel that emotion. And maybe it was just a new emotion for him, like love is to me, and he's experienced that before, so he didn't really want to go back there. And I'm kind of the same way. I don't want to feel jealous, but I turn that emotion into love, which is pain. So if he's trying to make me jealous, then to me it just feels like pain. It doesn't feel like a scratchy wool suit on the outside of me bothering my skin. It hurts a lot on the inside, like right in my chest, like. So I don't see, and when I let that go, woof, the energy just like woof, gone. It's not an emotion that I want to feel. So and usually the tears that I have are tears of memories and how much I miss him. And then I get angry. Because he took away our time. Not anybody else. I mean, everybody makes their own choices. And that's just the role that they play. And I accept that. That's why I said, if I don't want him if he's not ready for me. As much as that hurts me. So, who is he? Well, some of you know who he is, and it doesn't really matter. You can, plug in whoever it is that means to you. But yeah, so the sweater and throwing out things from other people, I think it really, it's good to get rid of that energy so that you have a clear space. Um, and I don't have any problems with getting rid of that T-shirt, but I had mentioned to him that he didn't have a backrest for a second person on his bike, and I was kind of hoping that me showing him how much I enjoyed it, that maybe he would um buy another seat, but he liked it for his getaway, and I respect that. And then he told me that that was nice of my friend to you know to take me on an adventure. He didn't use those exact words, but um I just love the way that he is. He just makes me laugh. That's I suppose that's how it is that he deals with jealousy, and maybe that's what he was trying to show me. which is an awesome way to deal with jealousy. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, well, that was nice, you play with your toy, okay, well, okay. Yeah, are you ready to go to dinner or make some banana bread, or do something? Yeah, yeah, let's do that. um and I didn't understand why his communication was so different. And maybe it's because my communication is different too, and by not being around people, I heard what I wanted to hear from him. I heard his words. I heard what it is that he said. And and here's the thing. Here's we can always take things positively or negatively, and that is going to decide the emotion that we choose to feel. And our reaction, our response to that emotion is going to be how it is that they see us, how, because we always judge other people. Like I judged this woman for calling my kids her kids. I'm like, that's just sad. Like, it's sad. And what I didn't realize at the time is that it's because she was sad, and she was trying to find her own way of pretending it to make her world her perfect little world. And if my kids, my awesome amazing kids, if that helped her, and even if it still helps her, that's fine. I don't tell my kids to not be friends with people. I just don't have to be friends with them. And honestly, my ex always kept a barrier between me and any of the people that he had my kids around. And it was very intentional. It's like he didn't want me to tell them anything. Well, you behave poorly, people are going to find out on their own. I don't need to be the one to tell them. But if they want to have a sit down with me, I'll tell them. If they want to know, I'll tell them my experiences. Doesn't mean that that's your experiences with that person. Just like my experiences with anybody are different. Like, we all have our own relationships, our own friendships, our own whatever, but there's a bond, and I think that's really what I really like about what was that movie, The Game, that I mentioned, is that there seems to be a bigger game that life plays with us. um, and we can choose, do we want to take this message to mean this, or do we want to take this message to mean this? And those of us that are creative and ADHD brain, whatever, We take it in all kinds of directions because it's fun. It's like, it's not just this or that. It's not just black or white. It's not just, it's not just left or right. It's not just red or blue. It's like there's all these other different ways. So I'm kind of in the middle with seeing both sides of the thinking, and I think that that's a good place to be, is because not in an intrusive way, but in as a missing piece, because, for instance, when I had a chance to sit down with one of my exes, finally, after like decades of never talking to her, never having the opportunity to, I think that her and I saw eye to eye quite well. I know that there were some things that she didn't want to believe. And I know that they ended up hitting her hard. And I think that she was able to see past that and see how her own experiences were. And more so than that, sometimes we can't change people, right? They can only change themselves. But what can she do? Well, she's a great mom. She's an absolutely great mom. And like just the most loving, like, she's great, right? My kids talk very, very highly of her. And so maybe when they were younger as kids, maybe that that was their pairing connection that they needed for later in life. And you don't always know why, but maybe she found her why, right? Because she's a great mom, and that's that's where it is that she's needed. We all need to try to find balance. And for me, I didn't know how to parent, so I'm like, listen, this is what it is that I taught myself. This much I know works. Here you go. And I just and by the way, you're out of the house when you're 18. And I first initially mentioned that to other people when the kids were around, say, oh yeah, they know that they have to be out of the house by 18, because I wanted them as younger teenagers to have that seed planted in their head that, by the way, you're not going to be in my house for forever like some of these people are. Like, I don't understand that, because it wasn't my reality, and having people around me was definitely not ideal for me. So I don't, when it comes to, and I think maybe this goes into, some of these other things that I've been seeing and responding to lately too, that I'm not a jealous person. I think because I don't like the emotion. I want people to be happy. I respect that everybody has their own friendship, past relationship, whatever. And that when I see people together, when I feel their energy together, that's when I know, okay, these people are happy. My kids both listen to me. They both marry their best friends. They're both happy. They both are around each other constantly, and they get along great, right? I mean, of course, everybody has their own rocky road, but it's it's just all part of life's experiences. But that part, and that clue came from somebody who told me in passing, whatever you do, marry your best friend. And I think it was because I was in that very explosive upbringing, that maybe they were advising what it is that they knew at that time. And to me, it astounds me that people have known all these clues and tips and everything, and nobody shared them with me until I started looking and asking. And I wouldn't have looked and asked if my friend wouldn't have suggested working on me. I'm like, I don't even know what that means. What does that mean? Like, I've kicked ass in my career. I've done really good. I've ran circles around people. I'm like, what does working on me mean? So I just, they're simple words. I Googled it. What does working on myself mean? And I'm like, oh. And then I found groups that, like, ads that literally just called out to me that that sounded like my energy. And it's like I knew who these individuals were without knowing anything about them. I just hit the pay button. I paid, and I said, we're going to find out where this road goes. And that's how I got started on my personal development. And it's been great because it's helped reaffirm how it is that I have felt about a lot of different things, or how it is that I have responded to different things. And at the same time, it has taught me so much more and broader respect for all of the things that I have been through, the whys. Why did this happen? Why this happened? Why this happened? Because, I just say, well, I just tell myself this. Well, apparently that's what you're supposed to do. Like, for instance, my friend got upset because he had taken his dog was sick. He had taken him to the vet. And the vet gave some medicine, and the dog ate the whole bottle of medicine. Or, like broke open the medicine and ate too much of it. And I laughed about it. And I know that he was upset with me for that. But I laughed about it because I looked at it like, why would the dog eat the whole bottle of medicine? Well, to me, the dog was saying, I'm sick. I need more medicine than that. Like, I need more medicine than what you're giving me. Because, maybe he was in pain, whatever the case may be. But animals communicate with us too. We often view them as, like the bird bath I have sitting out here in my yard. Like, it's something pretty to have, but we're not interacting with it. And but then there's this, and I notice artwork, because I like artwork. And he got this painting that I just love. The timing seems to be coincidental, that it was not long after I had done kickboxing for a while. And I was doing kickboxing because I was really irritated with everything going on at work, and the energy that was there, and everything that I was doing. They just kept putting more on me, and I'm like, oh, why do I have to do everybody's jobs? Like, really? And then you want to get mad at me for what? How about you help people learn how to do their jobs? Why me? Why? And if I said no, then I was the one. I'm just like, so I went into kickboxing to release some of that energy, and it was a really great way. It was actually not like straight kickboxing. It was a circuit, and it was it was literally just there for a little while. I joined, I did it, and then after I stopped doing it because I had surgeries, then the place disappeared. So, but it was, and I could be upset that, they took my money and ran, but I could also look at it as it was there when I needed it. I needed it to release that frustration and that anger and everything that was going on inside of me. And I respect that it was there for that. I don't, and it wasn't actually all my money. It wasn't that much money. It was the concept of it. because I don't even think that I had signed up for a monthly or yearly like thing. I think I was just kind of like paying every time I went in, or like every week. I mean, I wasn't. It wasn't. But it got me into shape fast, and it was a very short. Like they were like 30-minute sessions where it was just you go in, you do, and it was like nine 3-minute stations. Like you did this for 3 minutes, that for 3 minutes, that for 3 minutes, that for 3 minutes, and so you weren't getting exhausted doing one thing. Your body was actually just like working these muscles, those muscles, those muscles, those muscles, and kind of moving all around. And that was and that helped get me into shape really fast. But it also really yeah, it bothered my shoulder. That's right, it was my shoulder. It doing planks, just the pressure on my shoulder. Boxing, that wasn't too bad because I'm a right hand person, so I wasn't really hitting very hard with my left. I'm really good at hitting hard with my right hand for some reason, probably just because I'm right-handed and it's just stronger arm, right? um but anyway, so he has this picture, and it's like old school, where there's this woman, and she's sitting in the corner of a boxing ring, and she has her arms on the ropes with her gloves on, and she's just kind of sitting there on the stool. And I'm like, I love that picture. So we talked about it, and he was like, well, yeah, he goes, I really like it too. Do you think that she's getting ready to fight, or do you think that she's done? I'm like, no, she's done. Her hair's all pretty. I think she had a bow in it, or oh, like a scarf maybe tied around it. Um, and oh, and maybe that's what I should do. Maybe I should tie it around, like Kathleen has suggested. Maybe I should tie it around my neck, and then try putting it up over my head. And then maybe. I gave away the boxing gloves though, so I don't have those anymore. I gave them to somebody who could use them. They were building. Well, he was building a weight room to work out, because he was dealing with stuff too. And I'm like, hey, you have a boxing bag that you use with your hands, but here's some gloves if you want gloves. And he also has a bike, so I gave him like my leathers and like all that stuff. But that shirt that I have, let's go back to that shirt. I wore it thinking about you, and it wasn't about my experience with him, because everything with my experience with him I gave away. That's gone. um it's still a cool shirt. I like it. I still would love to ride on the back of my friend's bike with him, if he ever does that. But if we're getting too old to the point now where that's just not an option, that's fine. But my back needs a back rest, and I don't think that I'm strong enough, or that my shoulder would enjoy me riding my own bike at this point anymore. Scooter, whatever you want to call it, whatever it is. But I can get rid of that shirt. I mean, if that's not a problem. It's no big deal. Um, I don't really have, like, I've mostly bought everything. People, you know, maybe I just given off an energy of I don't want anything from you, so therefore they never gave anything to me. That's true. I didn't want anything from anybody because I wasn't looking for stuff. I was looking for the good stuff, the stuff on the inside. The stuff on the inside of the eggshell. That's the good stuff. And anyway, that's it for my sweater talk. I have my hair pulled back in a little fun ponytail thing this morning. My My tea is ready, but it needs some lemon. I haven't decided if I'm missing coffee. I know that I'm really tired, and maybe that's just caffeine withdrawal. It's not it's not as bad as when I stopped drinking Mountain Dew. For a long time, I was addicted to Mountain Dew, and when I had my first back surgery, L4, L5, the laminectomy, I couldn't get up to go to the store and buy Mountain Dew. I couldn't, and my my living at the time did not. It never crossed his mind whether there was anything that I really needed other than he knew that I enjoyed my yard and wanted to help me mow the yard by standing next to me as the self-propelled push lawnmower and me went for a ride like it was my walker. And at first I was wondering what was he thinking. And after the self-propelled lawnmower was going way too fast and I couldn't keep up with it and it was hurting me, then I think that it was his way of, he also didn't have kids. And I think that it was his way of, for instance, maybe trying to teach a little kid to walk. But it's not the same. It's not the same when you've been broken and repaired and you're trying to heal. It's versus a healthy child that's ready to walk. So anyway, that was actually one of the nicer things. So whatever. But an actual walker was when I actually got one, that was much more helpful. And I know that a lot of people yelled at him. I think the neighbors yelled at him for doing that. So, thank you, neighbors. But they didn't like him at all. Not in the least at all. They invited me over to parties when he wasn't there. Like they had a big family get together, and so I brought over baked goods. I got a what was it, chicken dumpling recipe, and that from it because I'd never had chicken dumplings and it was really good. And I'm like, how do you make this? She goes, oh, it's so easy, and she told me how, and I'm like, I gotta try that. And then I went home and I tried it, and it's really good. It's so easy. She was right. But that's a difference between people that are meant for me and people that aren't. The ones that aren't meant for me, they don't include me, and I can tell that my friend loves me because I hear him not so much in the words that he says, but then I started listening to the words that he said, and I he's just awesome. And I feel like when I'm on target that life finds a way to make me laugh. So I'm a really good shot, by the way. The fireman took me to the range. He let me borrow his I think he's the one that had the Kimber. He was into guns a lot, and that was nice. A nice fun thing to shoot. My 308's big and loud, and it's perfect for the purpose that it's there for. But I think I even gave away all my hunting clothes at some point because I don't have any land to hunt on. I don't have anybody to go with, and instead of letting old clothes just continue to get older when they're basically brand new, I decided to let other people enjoy them at their hunting cabins where that will get some use out of it and have good energy, because I got my first deer on my first try. It was just a little buck, but first shot on the run, and I got him. And maybe that's the energy that's in my hunting clothes that other people are now enjoying. Maybe they're getting success from that. And I'm just looking forward to seeing my friend again. And I'm wasting time by doing things like grabbing anything to talk about it, because it helps me kill the time. And if I'm like right now, my back is it's not been comfortable standing here. I have my feet a little more than shoulder width apart, just because of the height of where the camera's at. Our bodies, they age gracefully, but they do, and it's just an eggshell. The good stuff's on the inside. The energy wise, not the actual. People go way far in different directions. We are humans. We are our teeth are not made to be herbivores. Like they're not. We're not made for grazing. We don't have teeth in a mouth and nose structure to be able to reach grass on the ground, for instance. We need things that are sticking up off from the ground that can reach our mouth. That's a good, and life wants us to have fun. So, we should be having fun, but we also have to, be careful. And I learned when I was following Sadhguru back, I don't know, I think maybe 4 years ago. Listening to him and following what everything it is that he said and processing it in my head. And then, I thought, this was really cool. And then somebody over in India said that, he's for children. And I'm like, well, I'm like an adult child. So to me, he's perfect. He speaks in a very simple language for me that I can understand, that makes sense to me, because I'm new to all this spirituality stuff, and I'm trying to find my way. And he has a really big energy. His heart is just so big. And you find out why that is, and you're like, is it really worth it? And then I think about my Indian friend and something that he said to me one time. And it makes me realize that sometimes when people are friends, they may not necessarily be our friends. They may just be gathering information to follow their own joy in this life, in play their own role. And I learned that by doing the spiritual traveling with him, that I was able to see how, when I do this with my friend versus with this Indian guru guy that I called him, that's when I was able to look back and realize that I think the visions that I see with different people are based on what it is that they see about themselves. So, for instance, in my bilocation visions, the first one at the bar, he did not see himself with me, and so therefore he saw himself with somebody else that he worked with. So therefore life showed me what it is that he saw for his future, and I hadn't thought about it that way, because I've thought about these visions in different ways over the years. I thought, okay, first, why is it showing that nobody wants me? And then I shifted it to, okay, fine, life is showing me that people are living their lives without me. And now, if I think about it, just because I just thought about it, if I think about it as life is showing me what it is that they their future might be, then then that gives a different perspective. So, for instance, the one actually is, you know, the at the bar shooting pool kind of person, trying to find somebody who will give him everything he wants. And then the next one, he wanted to take me to Switzerland and or anywhere, and then he didn't say he wanted to take me to Switzerland. I'm going to clarify that. He wanted to take me anywhere that I wanted to go, whether it was to the wine country, whether it was to Hawaii, wherever it is that I wanted to go. And then he also asked me to watch his kids, and because I'm not, you know, I wasn't raised to know how to raise kids properly. I felt like, you know, this is an amazing guy. I really don't want to mess somebody else's kids up. Like, I probably messed up my own enough. But in hindsight, they've turned out great, in my opinion, for, you know, what little it is that I did. And, you know, the village plays a part of that as well. But then if I shift to the bilocation visions with my friend, there's one that I didn't mention in my book, and I told him that I didn't mention it. And in my heart, it feels like I saw what I saw, and I know who it was that I saw. But I never saw a face. So, you know, there's room for adjustments there. I have seen myself at his house with his dog. When I was sitting here at my house, I would draw the pictures and I would send them to him to show him, oh, I just saw this. So I think it was before he had the dog. After the old one passed on, and before he got the first little one. Wow. It seems like, and I think it was just in my head, but it seems like I heard somebody saying, I can see her with kids. And they were talking about me. And I don't know if that was him, but it felt like it was him. Because, you know, I had talked to him about grandkids, and, you know, how I have, you know, my kids have great kids, and, you know, I want to share my family with one special person. I don't want to share my family with, you know, everybody that comes through, you know, like my ex's life. I didn't, you know, but then again, you know, I had a couple of different people in my life at the same time that my kids learned from as well. So, you know, they got, the kids probably got more out of those changes, those shifts, than it hurting them, because they obviously turned out great in my opinion and in the opinion of many, many people. But, and I'm not bragging, but I am bragging because I have every right to brag, because they basically raised themselves, with guidance, a little bit of guidance, but not the kind of guidance that I would have liked to have given them. I would have liked this. Somebody's watching me. I'm sorry that you're crying. It's not about me, because what we have to see is that everything lined up exactly how it was supposed to be. It's not sadness, it's joy, because I have all of you guys. Yay. I need to blow my nose now. I'm sucking up snot. I need to reheat up my tea, put some lemon in it, and then I'll take a shower, I promise. Make my hair all pretty. The next phase in life is so cool. So cool. I'm so glad. See you soon.